G'day everyone. Strap in. This could be a slightly longer one. Sorry. Right. I'm quite excited. I need to calm down. I'm quite excited because these are such lovely sculpts. They are absolute rippers. Right up there with the likes of Claymore Castings and their 100 Years War range. These are Medbury Miniatures Metal Castings. Now I've been doing some videos. You'll see that in the previous lists featuring these. Well, during my prolonged recovery from pneumonia and now and in recent times fighting off a sinus infection because my immunity's a bit shot, I've been plugging away at these guys, not just these, but knights as well. So I could almost make 2 videos, but no, I think I'm just gonna put it all in one. So yeah, I'm quite excited by these. I really am, because they were a lot of fun to paint, and because they're such beautiful sculpts. So yeah, I took my time over them. I guess a bit of a I'm gonna do that with most of what I do. It's a sort of slow thing, but yeah, great fun. Now, what you can see in front of you, and I've even made some notes. Hopefully the photos turn out. I've changed my background up. I've just, that bit of black card that I normally have sitting, the figure sitting on, I've just unfolded it because it's an A3 or whatever. So I thought, oh, let's flip it up and hide what's behind, and hopefully that might give you a bit of a better view. Now these guys are for my mate Mark in New Zealand, for his Age of Chivalry warband, which has a Scottish theme, as I've mentioned in previous videos. So hence there's a lot of the darker blues. There's a lot of blues, or blues and whites, or off-whites, and other tones mixed in as well. But yeah, the blue and whitish is kind of the thing. And I talked about my process in base coating these and getting these ready. So these are the finished figures, as it were. Okay, so and I also sort of talked you through the sort of paints I think I was using for these. So yeah, that should, if you refer to the previous video, that should give you a good idea of what I used. Now these are from Medbury Miniatures, like I said, sculpted by Andrew Medbury, cast in Australia, Central Coast, New South Wales, or somewhere like that. But the STLs are available all over the world to download and print if you've got access to a 3D printer, or you've got someone who does 3D printing for you. You could do that. I'm fortunate enough to have the metal castings, which, you know, is, if I have a choice, I'd go for metal. I like metal, just how it is. But they're just superb. Clean casts, really well proportioned and detailed and everything. They're excellent. Now, the sort of clump that you can see, this group of longbowmen or warbows, or right, they're sort of like in this Scottish warband, but they might be from England. They might be mercenaries. I think that's how Mark's running it. So anyway, there's figures here from 3 different sets, packs from the Medbury site. One is the unarmored English archers pack. The other, there's 2 guys. You can see one of them on your, your left. There's one of the tired archers, and then there's another one on the far right. You'll see it better in the photos that come after. They come from the tired archers pair. And then there's 2 other guys that are also in the back, one with the hunting horn and one waving his sword. They're from the unarmored archer command pack, although I guess the guy waving his sword is partially armored. And I suppose you could say that for a few of them. You know, they've got helms or and the like, and some coifs and stuff like that, but they're not like fully kitted out in full armor. So that is them. So if you want tips on the colors and stuff, do feel free to go back to the previous video. So with this video, I was thinking this silly thought. It'd be great if people could share this on the social medias. Not I don't want to have lots. I'm not doing this to be famous, put it that way, or to get lots of hits or anything. But what it is I think more people should be buying these blooming things. They're fantastic, and I'd like to see like more of like the guys who are into medieval wargaming check these figures out. And even if you're not, if you're new to it or whatever, if you give them a go, whether you get them printed 3D printed or you make an order to Australia. People order stuff from Eureka in Australia and places like that. So, but give them a go. So if people who, I'm not on Facebook anymore or Instagram or any of those things, but if people want to share this video just to promote Medbury Miniatures, I think Andrew's work deserves as much promotion as it can get, because these are blooming superb. And I have painted hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miniatures over the years. And I've painted the likes of Claymore Castings Medieval Range. And these are right up there with them, They really are. I've painted quite a lot of medieval stuff and early medieval miniatures over a lot of years, as well as all sorts of other things. All sorts of things. Covered most things. Very little science fiction. Fantasy, yes. Historicals, mostly. Yeah, so that's them. So, yeah, get these out there. Get Medbury Miniatures some promotion, guys. We want to inundate his shop with orders. Not overwhelm him, of course, but get these out there in the public eye, that there's not just the other big names. There's not just Perry's and Claymore and other long-established brands. There's Medbury Miniatures, and these are a class act for 100 Years' War, and there's a number of other packs in there we're due for earlier as well, prior to the 100 Years' War. Plus he's got other stuff too there, plenty of other really nice ranges on his site. I'm going to pause the video here because I'm going to put these glorious knights up. They're just such good sculpts. Hold on a tick. There they are, the knights. Wow, they are such cool sculpts. The chainmail is really excellently defined. It's not overly exaggerated. It's got enough in it to pick out washes and things like that. There are lots of lovely little riveted details. Everything is just, I really like. So let's go from, and I'll talk about now these aren't strictly adhering to particular coats of arms or anything like that. Mark didn't ask for that. He said it can be quite generic, but I did take inspiration from some Scottish heraldry or stuff that has been connected with the Scots, whether it was at Otterburn or some other place. So let's talk you through it from left through to right about some of the influences. Like I said, they're not strictly 100%, but the one on the left, that is inspired by Sir William Wardlaw. I think I looked on the Flags of War website at some of the banner designs he had there for Otterburn period, and I took inspiration from those. So he's got the three yellow diamond shapes, hollow diamonds, on his shield and on his surcoat, and you probably see them better in the photos as well. The next chappie with the diagonal band, and I'll turn him around so you can see it better on his shield. It's quite simple. I always find anything with straight lines quite challenging in art, because I've always been more of a sketcher than a straight line drawer, so I keep having to go back and back and back and back, correct my mistakes. So, but anyway, I'm happy with how they've turned out, especially the way that diagonal line ripples across that texture, the rippling texture on his surcoat there. So that guy there, that's one of Sir James, it could be Sir James Sandilands or Sandilands, or one of his men. And that's, yeah, with that diagonal blue. Now the next chap with the rather fetching sort of fuchsia red and blue combo with the lovely bit coming out the back there and the nice sort of stripe there across the back. Now that's inspired by the coat of arms of Sir John Carmichael, or Sir John Carmichael. Apologies if I'm pronouncing them wrong. Sir John Carmichael. Just, sorry, tweaking and adjusting. There we go. Yes, Sir John Carmichael, with that sort of alternating stripe of the blue and that sort of bright fuchsia kind of colour. Now the next chap, you probably can't see it too well, but on his chest, these stars, freehand painted stars. I find them so difficult. There's a lot of back and forward, particularly when you get onto wriggly folded cloth sort of stuff. But anyway, I did my best. I think I did anyway. Now that's not directly based on anyone specific, but it is somewhat inspired by the Douglas coat of arms, which a lot of the Douglas ones would have these blue with white stars, sometimes vertical bars as well. I might actually, one of the other nights, I think there's still a couple to come, one of them I might paint up as a more of a Douglas thing, shield design. We'll see how I go. There's still more to come with this project. So yeah, so that star took me a lot of faff. Back and forwards, trying to get it to look, reasonably straight lines. So yeah, he's something to do with the Douglas. He has a Douglas connection, put it that way. Now the next chap with that kind of chevron thing on his shield and on his surcoat, he's it's loosely based off something. Actually, I thought it was quite amusing, but I saw a shield from that Otterburn period that was, I think it was that period, a Blackadder. But the Blackadder one that I found actually had kind of flowers on it as well. But I thought, I'll just take, it was that same design, but in the chevron were, I think, some red flowers or something like that. Anyway, I didn't want to go to that extent, not for this one, but even just like getting a decent looking chevron on the shield in the front and the back and some sort of gradient of light on the shield and things like that. Yeah, took a while. So I'm pleased with that. And the guy on the end is very much inspired by St Andrew's cross and that sort of classic Scottish symbol flag. And it's also has connections with Sir John de Haga, who had somewhat of a similar shield design, I think, but with stars and crescent moons, I think, on it as well. But I just kept it a bit simpler because I think it's a very bold figure already with that crest and whatnot. So I had this bold Scottish kind of shield design, and then I actually just kept him in a really subtle look, because this almost like some sort of Templar guy, like this long flowing white robe surcoat thing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so there's a lot of subtle sort of shading on that one. It probably doesn't come out on the camera very well. They don't usually. They look much better to the eye in person, but yeah, they're just such super sculpts. They're just really, wow. All that bling, So I went full on bling. I had a look at they have a superb studio painter for their when I was looking at their medievals, some of their examples on the Medbury site, some wonderful freehand heraldry and stuff, and just really nice paint jobs. Really top work by their studio painter there. And so I was thought I wasn't going to add as much gold sort of extra trim stuff, but I saw that they had quite a bit of that on some of their painted knights examples, and I thought, well, why not go full on bling? That's so. The sort of armor is much shinier, brighter, polished than say when I was doing painting sort of more dark age figures, particularly on chainmail. I tend to go for a slightly darker finish on the chainmail, but on here I've gone much brighter. So I think, yeah, and on the plate items I've gone, quite high up with my levels, because I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, almost five five levels of sort of brightness that I work from really dark armor right through to the final highlights, and I save the final highlight touches for the tips of the swords. It's almost silvery white, just that really bright light. So yeah, I'm quite happy how the shiny armor turned out. So, well, maybe this won't be as long as I thought this video. It's not as even as long as the last one, but yeah, for a lot of the blues, I used scale 75 blues. Basically, a lot of them, not all of them, but going through from deep blue, and then a wash, and then back in with deep blue, then Cantabric blue, and then final highlights with Mediterranean blue, and sort of blend it, and a blend of all of them, sort of like blended stages in between. Like if I thought it was too bright, I'd tone it down with the previous color and that. So yeah, guys, if you're into your medievals, please check out Medbury Miniatures. Please do. I know there are some YouTubers out there who probably aren't aware of them or don't have them in their collection, who are into medieval stuff. It would be great to see them getting some more. Sorry, I'm just putting my notebook away. Getting some more attention, like I said. So if you can share it, and if you're in any medieval groups, yeah, share this just to promote Medbury. I'm not too fussed about myself. I just putter along, I've been doing this for 10 years on YouTube or something like that, and other guys have raced way beyond me in terms of subscribers, and I'm not bothered really. I do this is, yeah, I get paid for some of my painting, quite a bit of my painting, but I do it as a hobby, because I can't do sort of hold down regular work because of my health problems. So this is my hobby, and and I don't have a lot of like war games or battle stuff on here. So it's mostly about painting. But if I do have them, I'll try and share them. I did have one a while back, but yeah. So more stuff upcoming. I've ordered a secondhand book. Oh, I wanted to say thank you so much to everyone, like well wishes and stuff about my recovery, of course, but also while I was recovering, I did a couple of posts on the community posts tab thing on my YouTube channel, and there was some great discussion. We're talking about how do you get enthusiasm to, or what can you do if you don't want to paint both sides of a particular historical period? What sort of armies are there, like my old Anglo-Saxon collection, which I sold that off except for a huge hoard of unpainted figures which I must show you guys one day, and probably start to paint them again. Yeah, what sort of things could you collect where you basically painting one huge army, and you can just split it in two and they can fight each other. And so there was some great discussion around what sort of periods and eras and things that would work for that. And I can certainly, medieval's definitely one of them, that's for sure. So I'm still pondering on all that kind of stuff. I had a birthday recently, didn't ask for any miniatures. I just couldn't make my mind up, but I've got a few bucks to spend on that sort of stuff if I want. But I ordered an Osprey book, secondhand copy of English Knights 1200 to 1300 with illustrations by Graham Turner, who does a lot of fantastic medieval illustrations, majority for Wars of the Roses, but he also covers on other stuff as well. So I'm looking forward to getting that and having a look at that, because as far as like a medieval kind of aesthetic, I tend to prefer like that look. I'm not interested in the Crusades, but I like that kind of Robin Hood kind of look, the old Tempo Knights that I had as a kid, you know, where it's mostly male, but you do get great helms and you get heater shields, and not much plate. So I quite like that aesthetic. So these sort of figures are kind of a halfway, like early 100 Years War, where you're starting to get more and more plate, but you still got chainmail as well, rather than the full plate of later times. So yeah, I prefer the kind of earlier look. I suppose it also fits with the Barons' War kind of era as well. Yeah, so I thought I'd get that. It'll turn up eventually. It's no hurry, and I'll have a look at that and keep thinking. I kind of feel like I should paint some of my stash before I go and buy something else. So yeah, I've also ordered on the recommendation of Rory from Culloden Painting Studio. Asking him about how he films his painting on it. It's something I've never been able to master. Still might not be able to, but he did recommend getting a gooseneck phone holder. So I've ordered one off eBay. I'm going to see if I clip it to the top of my roll top, whether I can get a shot of me, any reasonable footage of me painting. It is problematic because I have a funny painting style where I paint quite close into my body, and those who followed the channel for a long time might have seen my desk, that there are a couple of pieces of foam actually on the edge of my desk, because I push my hand into the edge of the desk to steady myself. So whether the camera can actually get the painting in shot, I don't know. So, you know, we've all got our different ways of doing things. Got to work with what you got. There'll probably be something else I forget. Shout out to my mate Darren on Darren Stanaway. If you haven't subscribed to him, do go over and give him a sub. We've been enjoying chatting with each other offline as well, and he's even ordered a couple of Medbury miniatures to try out for himself, because we were talking about who makes stuff in Australia. I mean, there's a lot of 3D printing dudes, but who actually makes stuff? I mean, you got Eureka, you got Elite Miniatures, who cast stuff in Australia as far as we can tell, and you got Medbury. I'm not sure who else there is, because you know, it's getting more and more expensive to get stuff from overseas. You really got to think twice, Australian and New Zealand people, when you know you put stuff in your cart. You think, oh, that sounds reasonable. Then you hit the postage stuff and tell them where you live. Oh my goodness, it adds such a lot. It can be the value of the goods, or double the value of the goods, or it's a bit of a turn off, which is a real shame. It's a real shame, but you know, the tyranny of distance, as the old saying goes. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching and listening to my blather. And I really hope you enjoy the video. Get it out there. Get some promo for a good old Medbury Miniatures down under. And you could 3D print them or get someone to do that for you. Or if you're fortunate enough to be able to afford the metal castings, or you live in Oz or New Zealand or somewhere like that, go for it. Really worthwhile. So that's enough of my enthusing. I'll see you in the next one. Who knows what's going to come across my desk. Oh, also, can you let me know what you think about this black cardboard background thingamy? Is that better or worse? Do you prefer seeing the wooden desk with all the stuff strewn around in the background? Is that better for the photos, or better for the videos, or you're not bothered? I don't know. It'd be nice to have some feedback on that. Anyway, guys, look after yourselves, look after each other. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.